Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's get started. तो कल हमने Azure स्टोरेज सर्विसेज का पढ़ा था और I'll just go over it. इसमें थोड़ी सी मैंने स्लाइड्स ऐड की हैं इसके अंदर just to clarify few points. So we'll just review some of the stuff, then we'll move forward. तो कल हमने पढ़ा था इसका कि इनका ग्लोबली यूनिक नेम होता है, यानी कि वर्ल्ड वाइड आप जो भी नाम दे रहे हो इट नीड्स टू बी यूनिक, so it cannot have conflict with anybody else, क्योंकि इसका एक स्पेसिफिक डोमेन के अंदर ये नाम आ रहा होता है इसका, जिस सामने ये किया हुआ है. फॉर एग्जांपल इसका जो हमने नाम दिया था, मैं इसमें खोल लेता हूँ बल्कि स्टोरेज अकाउंट्स. तो इसके अंदर जो हमने URL देखा था इसका, what we were trying to do was let's see, यहाँ पे तो ये URL है इसका कंटेनर का, एंड यू कैन सी ये एक स्पेसिफिक डोमेन के अंदर है, एंड वी नो ऑलरेडी एक डोमेन के अंदर नेम्स कैनॉट बी सेम. So that's why it asks us कि हम इसका जो नाम है स्टोरेज अकाउंट का, we need to make it unique. और क्योंकि वो कॉपी कर होते हैं मल्टी डिफरेंट लोकेशंस के ऊपर, it can switch the IP address automatically behind the scenes अगर फेल ओवर होता है. So we reach this storage account with the same name. Yeah? So that was the motivation, that was the reason it needs to be unique. Yeah? And you cannot have all different kind of characters and all that. You need to have characters and numbers in this one. Yeah. Or as हमने पढ़ा था कि provides over the internet access worldwide. Of course, that's not a very good thing, क्योंकि it's a security issue. How do we control it? We'll take a look also. Yeah. ये हमने कल पढ़ा था already, LRS, ZRS, GRS और GZRS. Yeah. और इतना डिटेल में पढ़ा था इसको. और इसके अंदर हमने कल जो हमने नहीं देखा था, that was कि इसमें कौन कौन सी तरह का स्टोरेज है. एक है जनरल पर्पस, आप नॉर्मल यूजेज के लिए, फाइल्स के लिए, चीज़ों के लिए यू आर यूजिंग इट, ब्लॉग्स हैं एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, राइट. आपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स डालें, वीडियोस, ऑडियोज एंड दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. Then you have premium block, premium file types, right? Premium blobs, premium file share, or premium block blobs. The premium services are basically, so these are standard for all these things, and this one is premium for these things specifically. तो यहाँ पे आपको high performance read and write चाहिए हो, you need the premium files, premium storage type basically. तो blobs के अंदर हमें special वो premium service मिलती है, फाइल के अंदर उसकी प्रीमियम फाइल शेयर है, और इसी तरह पेज ब्लॉक के अंदर उसकी प्रीमियम वो है, क्या कहते हैं, प्रीमियम सर्विस है. तो मेन चीज़ है जहाँ पे आपकी एक्सट्रीम हाई IO हो, इनपुट आउटपुट हो, डिस्क IO. और इसमें मैंने बताया था डिस्क इज मेजर्ड इन IOPS. तो इसके अंदर लेट मी सी हाउ टू IOPS एंड लेट मी सी आर्टिकल. दिस इज ये डिस्क जो है, this is what they're measured in. जो आपकी high performance disks होती है ना, this is what it's basically when say high performance. इनका जो IOPS है that is very high. जो high performance disks होती हैं, सही है. So this is what the term is. This is basically input output per second. So this is what it is. और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है कि इट्स ऑल एनक्रिप्टेड. ठीक है, स्टोरेज सर्विस इंक्रिप्शन. जो स्टोरेज सर्विसेज है, डेटा व्हेन इट्स एट रेस्ट, दैट मींस यू आर नॉट रीडिंग, राइटिंग, इट इज सिटिंग ऑन द डिस्क, दैट इज इट इज एनक्रिप्टेड बाय डिफॉल्ट. सो दैट इज एन इंटरेस्टिंग क्रिटिकल पॉइंट. और ये रिक्वायरमेंट है कई ज्योग्राफीज की, कई सिस्टम्स की, दैट डेटा मस्ट बी एन्क्रिप्टेड एट रेस्ट। फिर उसके अंदर और चीजें, वेयर इट सेज द डेटा मस्ट बी, क्या कहते हैं, इन द फ्लाइट ऑल्सो इट नीड्स टू बी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, फिर उसके लिए और डिफरेंट चीजें होती हैं, वेयर इट इज बीइंग मूविंग एंड इट नीड्स टू बी एन्क्रिप्टेड, राइट? देयर आर डिफरेंट थिंग्स फॉर दैट। तो जिस तरह HTTPS है, आप उसके ऊपर करें तो डेटा while it is being moving, while it is being transferred, is encrypted, right? So when it says at rest, that means it is not being written or read. तो डिस्क के ऊपर जो है it is encrypted. यानी कि मैं अगर डिस्क लेके जाऊं, कोई डिस्क ले लें, nobody will be able to read the data. See, that is the idea of data at rest, encryption at rest. ये हमने कल पढ़ा था सारी ऑलरेडी, उनके डिफरेंट सिनेरियोज, उसकी रिडंडेंसी एंड ऑल दैट। इससे मैंने थोड़ी सी और उसके अंदर वो डिफरेंट पिक्चर्स मैंने ऐड की थी, सिमिलर स्टफ बट लिटिल बिट ऑफ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव। भैया उसके अंदर वो बता रहे थे कि मल्टीपल रीजन, हमने पढ़ा था पहले भी 300 माइल्स का बेसिकली, और इसके अंदर एसिंक रेप्लिकेशन हो रही होती है। And sync versus async is essentially the idea that यहाँ पे read कर लेते हैं, यहाँ पे write कर देते हैं, और फिर जो write है and application gets the response already, right? ये जो arrows हैं, it's telling you application is getting response, and then async application हो रही होती है यहाँ पे, ठीक है? So application doesn't have to wait. And this is RAGRS, और ये आपको बता रहे हैं कि यहाँ से अब you can read also, यहाँ पे read write कर रहे हो primary copy के ऊपर, यहाँ पे read write हो रहा है, so यहाँ पे read हो रहा है सिर्फ secondary के ऊपर, सही है? This is read access GRS, and GRS हमने पढ़ा था Geo Redundant Storage। फिर हमने कल GZRS पढ़ा था और फिर RAGZRS पढ़ा था, सही है? Geo Zonal Redundant Storage, एक जोन के अंदर 3 कॉपीज बनती हैं versus 1 data center, right? That means 3 data centers in a single zone, उसके अंदर कॉपीज बनती हैं, और उसके बाद it's async replicated। और जो RAGZRS है, फिर आपकी जो सेकेंडरी कॉपी है उसके ऊपर से भी आप रीड कर सकते हो, ठीक है?
Sir, we didn't study RAGZRS. We only studied GZRS.
नहीं, मैंने कल बताया था आपको, ये we studied this one। मैंने आपको बताया था RAGRS और ये GRS और RAGZRS, तो इट्स सेम आइडिया बेसिकली। रीड एक्सेस के आपकी जो ये वाली कॉपी है, सही है, वहां से यू कैन रीड। तो ये फ्रॉम हेयर मेन चीज है कि GRS हो या GZRS हो। तो ये GRS और GZRS में क्या फर्क है? GRS के अंदर फॉर एग्जांपल ये आपका GRS हो गया, ये आपका ZRS हो गया, तो ये zonal redundancy and the mix of both is GZRS, तो ये GZRS। तो ये zonal हो गया, ये G हो गया, ये GZRS हो गया, and then this is the RAGZRS। तो ये यहाँ पे read access हो गई यहाँ पे, तो ये it's a mix of both GRS and ZRS, तो ये with a read capability, so yeah, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
It's a mixture of basically GRS and ZRS, so yeah, GZRS, and R is simply कि आप read access दे रहे हो from the secondary copy, from the second region से आप read access दे रहे हो, yeah. यहाँ पे इन्होंने break down किया हुआ दोनों को, actually same thing basically, GZRS and then RAGZRS, yeah. तो यहाँ से भी आपको you are able to read। इससे ये फायदा होता है बेसिकली कि आपका ये लेट्स से ये आपका यूरोप के अंदर ये तीनों जोन्स हैं और अमेरिका में आप इसको कर रहे हो, you they don't have to come to over here to read, you can do the read from over here, which is very beneficial, so you don't have to I mean from latency perspective, so yeah, so it is very beneficial from that perspective। उससे बस ये होता है कि वो कह रहे हैं RPA delay to secondary can be queried, वो कह रहे हैं कि मसला सिर्फ ये होता है कि it is getting replicated in an async fashion, so it could be agar same time mein read ke there could be some delays, so yeah, which is fine। So generally in these kind of scenarios you're able to say yeah I'm okay, but the benefit I'm getting, it's worthwhile to be able to क्या कहते हैं handle this delay. I don't need to be 100% synchronized at the same period of time, right? So it's okay. I can tolerate this kind of delay. फिर हमने स्टोरेज सर्विसेज पढ़ी थी और उसके अंदर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट वाज कि हर सर्विस का एक सेपरेट नाम बनता है. स्टोरेज अकाउंट in a different URL. From the URL perspective, it's giving totally different services. हमने ये कंटेनर का पढ़ा था यहाँ पे, कंटेनर से या मैं अगर फाइल शेयर्स में जाऊं यहाँ पे और मैं यहाँ पे मैंने फाइल शेयर, लेट्स सी, इफ आई से fs01, yeah, and you can see also, right, different tiers of these things. तो मैंने चूंकि प्रीमियम स्टोरेज अकाउंट नहीं बनाया था, इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल, आई कैन क्रिएट अ सेपरेट प्रीमियम फाइल शेयर अकाउंट. सही है. So I don't create the storage account, I create the premium file share storage account basically. I can do this one. सही है. तो आप ये देखोगे एक storage account है, but the different services are being accessed through different URLs. सही है. इसका URL is file.core.windows.net and the file share name. Yeah. इसकी REST APIs हैं basically. So if you look at it, storage account is nothing special, right? ये आपको storage, जो इनकी storage arrays हैं, पीछे storage है, उसमें से एक disk दी है, एक storage carve out करके दिया है, and on top of that is layer of services that are giving you all the different kind of services on top of blank storage. Because from आप laptop में हो, you have the same storage, but you don't get these kind of services, right? कि आपको चीजें मिल रही हैं. This is because there's a software layer on top of it that is providing you all these kind of things. Yeah. और उसके बाद you can do custom domain. और ये हमने पढ़ा था DNS के अंदर कि अगर ये देखो अब इन्होंने कहा ये तो चेंज नहीं हो सकता, ब्लॉब कोर विंडोज नेट तो चेंज नहीं हो सकता. So when you have an existing name that needs to be mapped to your own name, then you need to create a CNAME record, canonical name record, mapping of existing name into a new name. So yeah, this was one of the very, very much requested feature in Azure. It used to be in AWS only. Now ये Azure में लेके आए हैं. तो this is CNAME. अब देखो वहां पे जो मैं DNS में पढ़ा था, how critical it was to understand that thing over here. यहाँ पे जो existing URL मिला हुआ है, if we need to change it to a different, our own company name, storage.ourcompanyname.com, we need to create a CNAME record for this one. तो ये basically वो end points हैं हमारे सारे. What we just saw. So table का, queue का. So table is essentially मैंने कहा था, it gives you rows and column interface over the storage. Queue gives you queue functionality, which is आप एक तरह से वो डाल रहे हो, क्या कहते हैं, data you are putting into the queue and it can sit there, right? Because it's written to the storage. And queues are very nice things in software engineering, right? You can write to a queue, एक process है वो queue के अंदर process डालता जा रहा है data आपका, and it stays there. And the other process can see, okay, what is the message sitting in the front of the queue, right? And it can pick up the messages. So it is what we call order delivery. So yeah, वो queue के अंदर जिस तरह data जा रहा है, दूसरी तरफ से उसी तरह निकल रहा है, right? It's first in, first out. So yeah, एक वो भी होता है last in, first out, जिसमें stack is last in, first out, right? एक अपने data structure में पढ़ा होगा, तो queues are first in, first out. And stack is last in, first out, right? It's very much the same functionality, but it's given to you in a software service, which is queues. तो आप इसको queue को अगर आप access करोगे from the same storage, for example, queues, आप इसके ऊपर queues बना सकते हो, for example, QUE01, for example. तो उसका URL भी, for example, as we saw, let's see. मैं देखना चाह रहा हूँ इसका अगर वो नजर आ रहा है queues का.
I have a question regarding queue storage. In queue storage, it allows us to access files in sort of sequential access or what?
नहीं.
I mean, what's the point of giving it?
Messages. I'm writing some message, some data, small amount of data into the queue. इसका साइज का भी होता है. आप ये देखो स्टोरेज जो मिल गया ना, मैं स्टोरेज is giving you 4 different services. So yeah, there are 4 different kind of services. I'm using different things in different things. Up tables के अंदर it's a row and column. I'm not seeing row and columns with the data files. So yeah, I'm seeing row and columns of data. The normal data होता है मेरा. Customer name, customer data, employee data, student data, and those kind of things, right? It's a structured data now. So yeah. So these are 4 usages of storing different kinds of data, 4 different kind of services, which allow you to store different kind of data and use different kind of services over the same storage. That is the idea. So yeah. Agar मैं कहूँ, for example, let me see Azure storage queues. So yeah. So idea is, so yeah, storage account है उसमें queue है. आप उसके अंदर, for example, you can put the messages. So yeah, let me just see if थोड़ा सा descriptive आपको वो दें जरा इसके अंदर concepts. Let me see images. So yeah. So basically, you are putting messages, somebody is putting messages, and just small messages. And generally क्या होता है, there are different listeners which are reading. हर कोई is listening to the queue. Whoever gets to pick the message, it picks and processes. So you can do multiple listeners and you can pick up messages. So it happens a lot in, for example, these are oil fields. Oil fields, for example, from all different kind of country, for example, different parts of the country, they're writing to the same queue, whatever the data they're doing. Yeah, IoT जो हैं scenarios, उसमें they're writing to queues somewhere in the cloud, right? And from there on, multiple guys are picking up and processing those messages, right? Because there could be a lot of telemetry data coming in, problems coming in, various different kind of data coming in. So yeah, that's the queue. So you're writing very small amount of messages. And we can see also, let me see message size actually. See, 64 kilobyte. So 64, you can write message up to 64 kilobyte, right? It cannot be more than that. So it's a small amount of data that you're writing for these kind of things, where you want to use the queue. इसका बड़ा specific usage है, right? For these kind. So small messages coming at a very high rate, you can do these kind of things. अब अगर आपको enterprise kind of resiliency चाहिए, we have a separate queue service, right? This one is for, it's a very, very cheap service. It's given to you for free, the service. You are only paying for the storage. So, yeah. So if you need enterprise service that can scale to millions of messages, then we have separate service. But right now we are looking at queue storage. So we're looking from the storage context. So storage is giving you this kind of service. So, yeah. So you can take a look at this one as well. वो link होगा वैसे उसके अंदर भी. So in your in the storage, क्या कहते हैं, in your when you're developing software, these are some critical things to understand when you need this kind of functionality. So yeah, queues are commonly used to create a backlog of work to process asynchronously. So you are dumping messages in the queue, and they are being picked up asynchronously, but in order, right? So you can do those kind of things. So yeah. A queue may contain millions of messages up to the total capacity limit of a storage account. So, yeah. And it tells you, for example, message can be 64 kilobyte and maximum time to live allowed is 7 days. वो expire हो जाएगा message उसके बाद. ठीक है? आप उसको -1 कर दो कि ये expire ना हो. ठीक है? Otherwise, default TTL 7 days. Time to live is 7 days. It will stay there for 7 days. So yeah. So this is how queues work. This is standard functionality, but they've given you this software layer on top of storage for free. That's the idea. Okay? And you can have this functionality in your software. And this is how it is used. So yeah, about, for example, blob storage है. हमने कल बनाया था blob storage. For example, यहाँ पे अगर मैं जाऊँ, containers हैं. तो मैंने movies बनाई हुई है. For example, it could be something else, right? And then there is, for example, pictures, and I can store different things in different containers, right? हमने कल containers बनाए थे इसके ऊपर. I can have different containers also. So, yeah. And I can put any kind of data in these blobs. Okay? तो यहाँ से हम we can pick up directly. URLs मिलते हैं हमें हर एक के. For example, I can put an image over here. For example, I can put pictures. So yeah, and pictures, or so you can have HTTP this URL /pictures image1.jpg. You can have the full URL. Of course, access is based on क्या कहते हैं उसकी based on your access or application access. But the point is, a lot of customers have asked this kind of functionality. I want to be able to access all my stuff in URLs, and it gives you very nice functionality. A customer ने कहा जी हमारा data we don't want to secure, I just want it to be open it, right? And it allows you to asynchronous, anonymous access you can enable. So yeah, the point is it gives you this kind of functionality. URL of the container जो हमने देखी है already. Let's see, we for example, right? This is the URL. If you look at the properties, /image0102, whatever it is, right? You can access that image if you have the access. So yeah, so it works out very, very nicely. Nice thing is, जैसा मैंने कहा, you can give the URL and it can give this directly to the browser. You can show it in the browser. आपका browser की application है कुछ है, you can give the URL directly and it will show. So yeah. Also, this can be accessed, as we said, from anywhere in the world, right? That is a nice thing. So these are some of the usages for blob storage, to dump any kind of data that you want storage, generally audio, video, non-structured data. Yeah. A structured, non-structured, we'll look at toward the end of the course in the Azure Data Services can that will go into those things. So हमने कहा था, now we have blobs, we have files. Seems like I can put everything into blob also, anything into files also. So yeah, why do you need something else? तो हमने बताया था कि Azure Files जो है, that has an SMB interface. What is SMB? SMB is the protocol that allows you file access. जिस तरह मैंने कल किया था, this thing, right? This thing is not possible in containers because containers do not implement SMB, but files do. जो files की layer है, जो software layer है storage के ऊपर, it allows you to look at the files through these things. Through SMB, you can do these kind of things. You can read, write files and do whatever and share and do access and integrate with Active Directory and so on and so forth, right? Also, files के ऊपर you can do, I think FTP. You can do this one also, SFTP also. So yeah, this is secure FTP. You can enable this one as well. जी, so हमने क्या करना है अब इसको? So you need to understand the usage दोनों के लिए, सही है? Here you can upload, download, and do massive uploads on blobs. Here this one allows you to deal with files, synchronize them, and do various different things. सही है? अपनी code डालो यहाँ पे. You can put anything basically dealing with files, right? That is the nice part, based on because the services that the file interface gives you on the storage, right? And of course, you can easily share. जिस तरह मैंने कल script run की थी, सही है? If I go into file share, if I go over here, इसके अंदर, for example, this one, it gives you this one, the script. Yeah, I will copy it actually and I will share today, inshallah. I will put it over there. मैं इसके अंदर I will do this thing. ये मैं दे दूंगा आप लोगों को. You can do this one. This is a standard Windows command actually, PowerShell command, test connection. So yeah, it checks कि अगर आपका you are able to, for example, let me see if I can zoom this one. So yeah, if the service is open to you, in the PowerShell, so yeah. So in the PowerShell, मैं इसको run कर सकता हूँ, testnet connection. So yeah, and you can see it tries to connect. to this service at this port, and it tells you, yes, I can connect. So yeah, this service this is a very nice service in PowerShell available to you. Iska abbreviation hai TNC, test network connection. Same thing, right? It does it. So test net connection, test-net connection. This is PowerShell basically. Yeah, I'm putting inshallah in one of the coming modules a little bit of PowerShell and administration. It's a very critical tool that you should know. You can pretty much automate everything in your environment using PowerShell. So yeah, so this is the key differences between both services, right? Different usages, different things, right? So yeah, SMB interface, and of course it has REST interface also if you need. But SMB interface is the one that allows you to connect to it and do the file management with it, right? उसके बाद another critical usage of Azure files is the Azure file sync. कि आप इसको आपने Azure files में यहाँ पे files डाल दी हैं सारी, and then you can synchronize with any of your offices. So yeah, वो synchronized भी होंगी, different people can use them, everybody is accessing them from over here, and you can synchronize on premises. ये server पड़ा हुआ है, सही है? It can synchronize these files over here. You use them locally, and it can synchronize back to Azure. These guys use it locally, it can synchronize back to Azure. So everybody's using, and automatically everything is getting synchronized to cloud. Yeah? The nice part is that your whole storage across the globe is backed up by Azure storage, and it can be very, very big. And यहाँ पे आप ये कर सकते हो, कह सकते हो कि जी आप locally सिर्फ 20% रखो उसका, या 10% रखो, or you can keep only the files which are being used, उनको cache कर लो. There are multiple different policies for the Azure file sync. So yeah, so there's the Azure file sync, which is a service that works with Azure files to give you this kind of capability, right? It's very, very nice. और लोगों के files, companies के file servers होते हैं. So what happens is आप Azure file sync डालते हो, and automatically it synchronizes everything to Azure storage. So yeah, different आपके branch offices हैं, and you can do branch office backups, which is आप कोई चीज के backup यहाँ पे होते रहें. So instead of implementing your own backup services and costly solutions, you can simply do backups of these services to Azure. Yeah? File archive करनी हो, आपकी पुरानी files हैं पड़ी हुई हैं, you want to move them to Azure, you can use Azure File Sync for those kind of things, right? Where you can set up the policy कि इसकी policy है, आप यहाँ पे कुछ ना रखो, everything should be there. So yeah, so you can do various different scenarios. Yes, the different scenarios हैं when you set up an on-premises file server and you connect using Azure File Sync. And this is basically a small utility, Azure File Sync. So, yeah, and you can install it, and it will allow you to connect, basically, right? Let's see. I don't go into too much details of this thing, Azure File Sync. So yeah, you can watch this one. It's very, very nice service. See? So main चीज है कि centralize करते हो सारी files को Azure पे, Azure files के ऊपर. See? That's the nice part. And then everybody can use. It will basically synchronize everything, so everybody gets the files that everybody else is using, right? That's the beauty of it. Very, very nice solution. ये कल हमने briefly थोड़ा सा देखा था, which is हमने कहा था public endpoints हैं, and what we can do is we can secure access. इसके ऊपर जाके I can go into networking, and I can say enable from this one. This is what this setting is. It's selected networks. ये थोड़ी सी setting उन्होंने नहीं कर दी है. New changes have come. So I can say जी existing VNet. I just want to access it from the virtual network only. Also from publicly, it looks at your IP and it determines जी आप इसको access कर लें. अगर मैं इसको ये ना करूं, अगर मैं इसको ये कर दूं, enable कर दूं, and I don't add myself, it will not allow me to come into these things, right? I will show you this one also. मैं इसको नहीं करता, मैं इसको ये कर देता हूं, selected virtual networks. See what happens now. ये मेरी setting आ गई है. I'll go into file share. इसको 1 मिनट लगेगा इसको to come into the settings आने में इसकी. ये देखो, सही है? it says you're not allowed to perform this. So yeah, आपको block access block हो रही है आपकी. Okay, I'll go into file share. I'll go into file share. ये मुझे आने दे रहा for some reason. I think that was blob only. It should be for everything actually. Let me see if I can do something. Maybe see. I'll check also कि मुझे क्यों करने दे रहा है ये. सही है. सही है. वो कह रही है आपको नहीं करने दी उसने. वो तो मुझे करने दे रहा है, but any file management it has blocked now. सही है. मुझे नहीं करने दे रहा. So this is what happens. This is how you can control these things. So yeah. Now I'll go back into this one. And what I will do is I'll add my client IP. Now let's see what happens. Give it 1 minute. I'll go back into pictures and I will say upload. So yeah. Now I'm able to do it, right? मैंने exception डाली उसी firewall के अंदर. So yeah. I'll go into this one again. Okay. It's working now. मैंने exception डाली है. See yeah. So this is the behavior. So yeah, how you can control who can access from where you can access and those kind of things. इसके अंदर if I want to block this, so yeah, I can do this also. I can go into and say disabled. Then only I access it from internally. This is what we call private endpoint. ये मैंने बताया था आपको virtual networks के अंदर. We enable the private endpoint for this storage. Then the storage is only available from internally from the virtual network. If I create a private endpoint for this service, it's a PaaS service. It's available on internet by default. So I can block it and I create a private endpoint. So it's available only on the network, on the virtual network. So yeah. So I can do this one as well. I'll go back into it. And you can see NFS and all these things is available. See? See, और वो कह रहे जिस सबनेट से आप एक्सेस दे रहे हो, it must exist in the same region or region pair. ये region pairs हमने पढ़े थे ना उसके अंदर availability zones के अंदर. It must be in the same region or region pair as a storage account. So yeah. So that's why those information and those things that we have learned is very, very critical. Everything builds on top of each other. ये भी कल हमने पढ़ा था basically कि उसके क्या different tiers हैं और basically how based on access it gets charged. तो cool की जो charging है for accessing it's much cheaper, but iski is extremely expensive. But the cost of storing is much cheaper in archive, higher in cool, and the most in hot. So अगर आप ज़्यादा access करोगे उसको, you will pay for it, right? The cost for accessing archive storage is extremely expensive. So yeah, because seems like what Microsoft does is it offloads from the Azure storage, it puts it somewhere else, और वहां से उसको फिर लेके आता है फिर वो वापस हो. तो ये तो charges quite a bit if you need to access. तो अगर साल में आपने एक दफा करना है, 2 दफा करना है, this is more than sufficient, right, for archive, but not more than that. So yeah.
So access includes both read and write.
Basically, it's not about read and write. It's about retrieving the data, right? As we saw yesterday, it's about because you should not be writing to archive. First of all, archive our data is archived, right? हमने उसको read ही करना है basically. We are not writing it. राइटिंग तो जब हमने डेटा मूव करना होता है आर्काइव के अंदर, दैट इज नॉट व्हाट्स गेट चार्ज, राइट? व्हेन यू राइटिंग इट, क्योंकि अपने डेटा मूव कर रहे हो हॉट से या कूल से आर्काइव के अंदर, बट द पॉइंट इज रिट्रीवल because you are sending it to somewhere other, some other storage. That is the idea, right? So generally it's retrieval. हमने कल ये देखा था actually इसके अंदर. If you go into Azure pricing calculator, right? We saw the retrieval cost actually, not writing cost. And if you look at it, let's take a look. तो ये अगर मैं इसको कहूँ फॉर एग्जांपल आर्काइव टियर, सही है? आर्काइव टियर के अंदर हमने क्या देखा था? रिट्रीवल, सही है? मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव ऑपरेशन वाज दिस वन, सही है? Let's see, 1 terabyte. High priority retrieval. If I want to, I think this is. आप उसको कहते हो मुझे ASAP चाहिए. I don't know how much वो करते हैं. But you can see data write is also free, right? It's the retrieval where it charge you the money. सही है? और cool tier का इसी तरह that was, it was cheaper. It is 10 times cheaper. सही है? But then cool tier is also maybe 10 times more expensive, right? It is 122 cool tier for the same thing, and for the same thing this is, सही है? तो यहाँ पे जो आपको सस्ती कॉस्ट मिल रही है वो रिट्रीवल के ऊपर पूरी हो रही है, सही है? So we want to make sure that you don't access it if it's, I mean, frequently, सही है? And of course writing is free, as we can see over here. It's the retrieval, and which makes sense. I mean, data जब आपने एक पेयर के अंदर डालना है, it should not be charging you. It's the retrieval where it costs you the money. This is what we are. ये मैं थोड़ा सा एक और एक्स्ट्रा स्लाइड डाली थी उसके अंदर just for a little bit more, क्या कहते हैं वो है. अगर कम से कम महीने बाद आप एक्सेस करो, read it like this, that you're accessing it maybe once a month, right? Here you're accessing it once in the 6 months, right? Twice a year maybe, like this. आपको नहीं इतनी frequent जरूरत है. Government regulation है साल में एक दफा निकालना, you can put them in archive tier. And then you can add these things, right? You can add rules to move this. और इतना टाइम हो गया इस डेटा को, ऑटोमेटिकली move this data into the blob, वो कर लो, archive tier में डाल दो, pool tier में डाल दो, those kind of things, right? You can do this blob lifecycle management essentially, right? You can set up these rules, तो आपको खुद ना करना पड़े basically. लास्ट बट नॉट लीस्ट, मैंने आपको बताया था स्टोरेज एक्सप्लोरर, कल मैंने दिखाया था आपको, फाइल सिंक अभी बताया, एंड एजी कॉपी जो टूल है, दिस इज वेरी वेरी नाइस. लेट मी सी इफ आई हैव इट. आई थिंक इट शुड बी देयर. ठीक है, इट इज नॉट देयर. You can download it, basically AZ copy. AZ copy. Yeah. So this is a very nice tool written in .NET, I think, and .NET Core actually. Yeah. It tells you actually यहाँ पे इसके requirements. Let me see if it does show the requirement. And it can write data to Azure, GCP, AWS, and so on and so forth, right? And you can download, you can play with it. It's really nice. Yeah. And so what it does is it can literally take over your complete bandwidth. आपने इसको VM दिया. I mean, we have transferred terabytes of data using AZ copy. So AZ copy was command line tool. आप जो storage explorer है basically, I think मैंने आपको दिखाया था आप लोगों को. Yeah, storage explorer. So yeah, it uses AZ copy underneath. So it's a graphical interface for AZ copy. The AZ copy के अंदर there are many options. So yeah. And when you do over here, for example, storage accounts, इसमें मैंने add किया था अपना ये वाला, so yeah. And if you look at the blob containers, so yeah. I can do this. I can select a folder. Let's see, for example. सही है, वो बता रहा है वो क्या चाहिए यहाँ पे, सही है, और बता रहा है आपको टीयर कौन सा चाहिए, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सही है. वो बता रहा है कहते जो हमने कमांड यूज की एजी कॉपी की, यू कैन टेक अ लुक ऑन दैट वन, लेट्स टेक अ लुक इसने क्या कमांड यूज की है, ठीक है। एंड यू कैन डू द बैंडविड्थ आल्सो, सही है कि आपने कितनी बैंडविड्थ यूज करनी है। दिस वाज वेरी मच क्रिटिकल फीचर, कंपनीज में हम यूज करते थे इसको अपलोड के लिए, एंड यूज टेक ओवर द होल इंटरनेट बैंडविड्थ, सही है। सो यहाँ पे यू कैन लिमिट कि यार आप इतना यूज करो बैंडविड्थ, सही है। और ये जो मैंने बताया था कि इसने कमांड क्या यूज की है, लेट्स टेक अ लुक फ्रॉम एजी कॉपी। Let's see, I can get one more file. सही है, ये कमांड उसने की है, सही है। और कंकरेंसी वैल्यू, ऑटो, वेरियस डिफरेंट थिंग्स, उससे कई पैरामीटर्स हैं। इट्स रियली नाइस टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट। और उसने ऑटोमेटिकली स्टोरेज एक्सप्लोरर ने उसको बता दिया था क्या यूआरएल है, बिकॉज वी आर ऑलरेडी ऑथेंटिकेटेड, वी आर ऑलरेडी इन दैट कंटेनर। उसने वहां से उसका पकड़ के उसने बता दिया कि यूआरएल क्या है इसका, सही है। और आपने क्या चीज कॉपी करनी है, उसने कहा जी ये डायरेक्टरी को कॉपी कर दो यहाँ पे, सही है। एंड दैट्स व्हाट इट डिड। लेट मी सी इफ दिस इज द सेम थिंग दैट वी नो, दिस इज फाइल्स। अब फाइल्स में नहीं मुझे नजर आएगा, इवन दो इट इज सिटिंग ओवर देयर, इट्स इन अ कंटेनर। मैं तो फाइल्स को मैप किया हुआ, सही है। तो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस बेसिकली, सही है। So you can see PowerPoint, everything. Anyway, so it was able to upload and do this very, very quickly. This is what it uses AZ copy underneath. इसका पहले अपना upload tool था. Now they use AZ copy. Yeah. So it's very nice to use this one. इसके अंदर इसकी settings भी थी मेरा ख्याल है कहीं पे. Let me see. Transfers. ये है AZ copy, सही है. Use the setting to the performance of AZ copy, सही है. ये different चीजें आपको बता रहा है. Maximum transfer rate, network. So there are many, many different settings to control file uploads. So yeah. Yeah. And you can do a lot of these settings. So it's a very, very sophisticated tool given to you for free. ये AWS के साथ भी काम करता है, GCP के साथ भी काम करता है. तो Azure के ऊपर mass migration से mass data copying के लिए these are the tools that we use basically. Yeah. It was already there. So when you're dealing with files, these are the various different things. So yeah. The A uses AZ copy to handle file operations. Is telling you this one. It is not AZ copy is not bidirectional synchronization. This one is bidirectional. Okay, it does back and forth bidirectional manner. Understand this very quickly. ये service है behind the scenes. It's running on a server. It can do copying from to Azure and vice versa. It checks the changes, everything automatically for you. AZ copy is just one way copying of data. Essentially, you can do both ways, but you have to manage it yourself. It is used to upload or download mass amount of data from cloud providers or to cloud providers. So yeah, so this was basically storage services, right? Let's go to the next point. Let me just 1 second. When we come to the how do we migrate, हमने अभी तक बहुत Azure services देखी हैं, applications, PaaS services, storage services. Sorry, this one is storage again. I want to look at the migrate actually. This one. Sorry. This is actually Azure Migrate. Same. I need to fix this one. Now we need to see हमने on premises पे virtual machines चल रही हैं, applications चल रही हैं. How do we move to Azure? Yeah, which is the critical point. Azure adoption के अंदर we need to understand how do things move into Azure. And for that we have a service called Azure Migrate. So yeah, If we're going to over here, Azure Migrate, you can see it is over here. Okay? And it tells you, what it can do. So basically, to move any service, you have Azure Migrate is there. It does assessments. एक tool है that allows you to access, SQL servers from whether it's VMware, Hyper-V, physical server. आपका SQL server run करे, it can do discovery, find out how many SQL servers there, क्या उनकी specifications हैं, क्या databases run कर रहे हैं. It can look at the applications, क्या applications run कर रही हैं आपकी, and it can tell you how to move them. सही है? So it does lots and lots of work for you. Also, you can see it contains your .NET and Java applications, और already उसको AKS के ऊपर deploy कर देगा, या app service containers के ऊपर, app services containers, right? It's an app service where you deploy containers. You can do this one. It doesn't use ACI, but it's telling you I can deploy on these two things, right? So very nice things it can do. So it's a very, very nice tool, and they're continuously doing lots and lots of development and addition into this tool, right? To handle more and more scenarios. तो क्या tools हैं इसके अंदर? Basically, as you can see, migration goals, servers, databases, web apps, databases, VDI, web apps, data box, and all that, right? I mean, whatever the scenarios are, it is trying to capture. So a lot of time, this is more than sufficient. And if you need more advanced, there are third-party assessment tools available. जिन्होंने इसके ऊपर बहुत extensive काम किया है to do these kind of things. Okay? तो डिस्कवरी करनी होगी आपने सबसे पहले. You can do discovery about VMware environment, Hyper-V, physical servers. सही है? So you can prepare them for migration to Azure. आपको पता होना चाहिए कितनी वर्चुअल मशीन है मेरे पास, कितना कंप्यूट है, कितना यूज हो रहा है, एंड वो बताएगा आपको ये VM है, इसके 4 CPUs हैं, you're using only one, move this into a single CPU or 2 CPU machine. You can do those kind of things. It gives you all that information as well. सही है? तो वो डिस्कवरी करेगा, उसकी असेसमेंट करेगा. It can do the migration as well. So then it can migrate, which is basically copying, compressing, and copying the data from Azure to from on-premises to Azure. और उसके बाद it can make the virtual machine over there, and it can start running the virtual machine. But that's quite a bit of work, right? कि आपने VM to copy कर लिया, VM की hard disk copy कर ली है. Now you need to create a virtual machine out of it. I need to run it. So it does all that work for you. Yeah. Data migration assistant. It can take a look. आप क्या SQL server run कर रहे हैं? Which SQL server it can map to? Yeah. Migrate on-premises database to Azure VMs running SQL. Yeah, Azure SQL database or Azure SQL managed instance. We'll take a look into the Azure data services. जब हम पढ़ेंगे, what are these three things? Why there are 3 different services? सही है? So it does a lot of things. ये बहुत extensive use करते हैं. It can pick the schema, the tables, database. It can move. It can move the data also. You can move the data. You can move the data. You can move the schema only, the structure only, and those kind of things. फिर कई दफा ये होता है हमने टेस्टिंग के लिए डेटा एक दफा किया है. Then you want to move the data again. You want to synchronize the data again. So you can do those kind of things also. कि जिसे आप करें. इसके लिए एक और बड़ा अच्छा टूल है which works in conjunction with this one, which is Microsoft Data Migration Assistant. So yeah. So कई scenarios हैं. So this is basically you can download this tool. So yeah. Naam same है, and it can tell you I can do certain things, or it will tell you download this Data Migration Assistant on your machine and get and work from that one. There are certain scenarios जो web वाला version है वो cover करता है. Certain scenarios इसका वो cover करता है जो downloadable tool है. सही है? Both have the same name essentially. सही है? Web App Migration Assistant. It allows you to assess your web applications and shows you, for example, how to migrate them. And it tells you there are different ways to migrate. It can containerize, it can create the container out of your application and deploy it on AKS or web app containers, basically. So, yeah. इसके अंदर जो सिनेरियोज हैं बेसिकली आपके IIS के ऊपर इट वर्क्स प्रीटी मच ऑन एवरीथिंग, बट ऑन जावा साइड इट वर्क्स ऑन बेसिकली टॉमकैट सर्वर, क्योंकि उसके ऊपर बहुत डिफरेंट सर्वर्स हैं, so it works with Tomcat basically. So yeah, data migration assistant. I will just quickly install it. And then there are scenarios where you have huge amount of data, terabytes of data, 30, 40, 50 terabytes of data. And what happens is that you need a way to transfer. अब जब bandwidth होती है, while the business is using it, you don't have too much bandwidth available. So yeah, you need to be able to क्या कहते हैं do this thing. So yeah, so basically, let me just तो उसके लिए क्या होता है, you need a way to ship the data to Microsoft. तो Microsoft कहता है I will send you the disk, copy the data through our tool, and then send me the disk back. I will copy into your storage account. So yeah, तो उनका वो सारा कुछ है, so it does that for you. Offline file transfer, this is data box, and there are different SKUs of data box. They are like, I think smaller one SSD आपको भेजने हैं, I think 20 or 40 terabytes की. It can send you a big box with a large amount of disk, or I think 100 or 200 terabytes and those kind of things, right? I think there's a let me see Azure data box के जो है sizes. So Azure data box के अंदर let's see, ये देखो data box disk, data box and data box heavy. So yeah, it tells you data box is 100 terabyte capacity, data box disk is up to 40 terabytes, 8 terabyte की SSD भेजते हैं आपको, and you can it comes in pack of up to 5. So yeah, 1 to 5. So you can get up to 40 terabytes of data. And then this is a big one, right? 1 petabyte of data you can copy, and then it comes, ये ship होता है आपको, आप इसको copy करते हो, and then you copy it and send it back. So these kind of data requirements, they have these kind of services. So yeah. Then you have a virtual appliance also. Virtual appliance, whenever it says, that means you will install a virtual machine on premises. It will make the connection to Azure subscription, and it will transfer data securely. It's a cheap solution. It's like $125 a month, right? And you will see it also over here. अगर मैं यहाँ पे करूँ Azure data box, yeah. So virtual appliance जो है is $250 a month. So yeah. And let's see, appliance. Yeah, this is the appliance. This is this gateway heavy. Order processing fee is this one. So these are not too much expensive, right? Gateway, I think this is what you need. Basically, $125. Yeah, this is what you need, right? This is data box, this heavy and all that, and gateway is what you need, the appliance, right? And you can do this one. If I go into Azure, I can put data box over here. Azure data box, right? And I can create a new one, right? Over here, then you can synchronize files. Main चीज़ है ये सारे के सारे जो हैं, these solutions import to Azure. Okay, you can see these things, and we do this one. Okay? आपने किस region में करना है, source कहाँ पे है, और region कहाँ पे है, and do all these things. Okay? So large amount of data, और इसमें मैंने कहा it is offline, but there is we have now an appliance also that allows you. Appliance means आप virtual machine install करोगे अपने data center में, and then it's like a service, data transfer service that is running in your environment. So these are the various different things it does Azure Migrate to help you. ये different scenarios यहाँ पे migration के, VMs move करनी है, applications move करनी है, databases move करनी है, web applications move करनी है, and you have to move the data, right? So there are various different scenarios and various different services that are given to you. अब इसके अंदर, if you go step by step into each area, right? This is what it looks like. The process है उसका, आप एक Azure account बनाते हो, it could be your own account, right? My own account, right? And then what you do is you create an appliance. So yeah, appliance means, again, whenever there's an appliance, it is about creating a virtual machine and installing some software that registers itself with Azure, with your subscription, right? If I do this Azure Migrate, यहाँ पे मैं करूँ assessment, for example. Let me see, create project. So I create a project. I can do this one, AZ Migrate project. I can put 01. Geography is, let's say UAE. So yeah. और जहाँ पे data center है, it tells you only that one. So yeah. Public endpoint, that's fine. Okay. Once I do this, there's really nothing. Now it's a container to hold different kind of settings. So yeah. Once this gets done, तो ये मैं बना रहा हूँ. यहाँ से मुझे बताएगा कि then now you need to create an appliance. So you once I go into this one. Appliance means I'll go into this one. So it is over here now. So yeah, project आ गया. Now the discovery and all that. अब इसके लिए it will tell you कि यहाँ पे आपने, let me see, discover. So yeah. मैं कह रहा हूँ discover करें Hyper-V. यहाँ पे देखो appliance अब बना रहा है, सही है? Appliance, and I can say, for example, I can say AZ Migrate Appliance 01. सही है? 13 to 14 character. वो की जनरेट करेगा. अब की जनरेट करने के बाद क्या करेगा वो, कि वो कहेगा आप या तो VHD, what is VHD by the way? When it's giving you this thing, what does this mean? ये basically कह रहा है VHD means this is a virtual hard disk for Hyper-V. I can create a virtual machine. मैं यहाँ पे आऊँगा अपने सर्वर के ऊपर, Hyper-V. Let me see if Hyper-V is here. Hyper-V मैंने नहीं डाला हुआ, मेरा ख्याल है. यहाँ Hyper-V नहीं डाला हुआ. But Hyper-V होता, I could have downloaded this one. जिसमें already pre-configured everything is there. I run this virtual machine और उसके बाद वो मेरे से की पूछता, सही है? ये की बना रहा है मेरे लिए. Let me see, right? It's creating the key for me and some other things, right? उसको मैं start करके मैं जब करूँगा, what it will do is it'll register itself with my subscription, and it will say, okay, I'm in Hyper-V. यहाँ पे मैंने कहा था उसको Hyper-V करना है, सही है? I'm in Hyper-V. I will go and try to discover all the virtual machines in your Hyper-V environment. सही है? I'll check your Hyper-Vs, whatever they are available, जितनी machines हैं, and I will look at all the virtual machines. यहाँ पे पूरी लिस्ट आपको दे देगा बेसिकली, सही है? यहाँ पे पूरी लिस्ट आ जाएगी यहाँ पे सर्वर्स की. जब ये डिस्कवरी हो जाएगी ना, it'll show you. इसकी डिपेंडेंसीज बताएगा, असेसमेंट बताएगा, what it looks like, सही है? And then you can do, for example, discover, and then you can, over here, you see migration tools. Those are assessment tools. These are migration tools. You can start doing replication. So yeah. I can do new, sorry, dashboard bana raha hai, so sorry. So if I do over here, let me see where we were. Discover के अंदर थे हम यहाँ पे, सही है? Hyper-V. Let me see what it did. उसने ये मेरी वो बनाई है, उसके लिए अप्लायंस बनाई है, मेरा ख्याल है इसके लिए. Anyway, I don't want to go into the details. तो ये basically आपकी वो appliance बनाएगा यहाँ से. आपको you can download, register and do those kind of things. So yeah. इसमें वो ये भी कहता है कि import कर लो all the server names, for example. तो ये assessment file, I think इसकी inventory assessment होती है that you can create. मैंने की नहीं कभी है, but sir inventory ये मेरा ख्याल है कि टूल है जो जनरेट करता है, बेसिकली आपको इंपोर्ट करके देगा. समटाइम कस्टमर कैन से कि हमें ये वी विल नॉट अलाउ दिस थिंग टू हैपन, और एक्सटर्नल कनेक्टिविटी. तो जो टूल है वो आपको CSV बना के देगा, एंड यू कैन अपलोड द क्या कहते हैं, ये टेम्पलेट आपको दे रहा है, ये टेम्पलेट दिए और आप फिल कर लो इसको, सही है? वंस इट इज फिल्ड, आप इसको वापस अपलोड कर दो इसके अंदर, सही है? सारा डेटा उसके अंदर डाल के यू कैन अपलोड. और डेटा भी you can go, you don't have to fill one by one, right? You can run, for example, जिस तरह ये है, for example, ठीक है? ये आपको दिखा दिया उसने. और इसके लिए PowerShell is very critical. You can do PowerShell, to pick all the server names और उसकी सारी information. It'll pick the disk. This is what we do usually. सही है? ये सारी information आपको Hyper-V से मिल जाएगी, Hyper-V की PowerShell से. So you can get all this information, fill this one, and you can do this one. सही है? So you don't have to do this manually, especially अगर आपके पास 100, 200, 500, 1000 servers हैं. I mean, it's not feasible, right? But generally, we do PowerShell for these kind of things. So approach is basically this: right? You discover, and you can see the discovery is you can do many things. VMware, Hyper-V, physical servers, AWS से move करना है, GCP से move करना है. You can do the discovery on all these things. Then assessment of all these things as well. Yeah. Migration, up modernization, right? It can containerize student apps, AKS पे, Java. You can app service containers, Java to containers, so yeah, and those kind of things basically. So it has many different things. So help you move. It's kind of like modernization while you're lifting and shifting. I'm going to lift and shift it as is, but Azure Migrate allows you to modernize also as it is migrating or moving this stuff, right? So you can do this one. So you don't have to move the VMs basically. So as you can think, how does the migration work when you're doing app containerization? So it has to discover, so yeah, क्या application run कर रही है, क्या components हैं उसके, and then it creates a Docker file. The Docker file is basically, I haven't shown you this one, but just to show you, right, what this thing looks like. Let me see, मैंने इसमें लिखी थी Docker file यहाँ पे. So yeah, so Docker file basically what it does is that's all it is, right? Now let me see if I can make this one bigger. Should be zoom in. Okay. So ये Docker file, I mean, what it does is it says use this base image. Maybe application is in this one. Copy this one into the image, and then something else. And once the container is ready, run this command. Okay. So yeah, we'll do a separate session on Docker how to create the image. But this is a Docker file. It's a name Docker file basically. This is what it creates. और यहाँ पे if you look at it, I can go into Docker file. यहाँ पे over here, it tells me, for example, let me see if it allows me to create the यहाँ पे आप देखो वो कह रहा है build image. So yeah, and add build image in Azure. So I can do this one, build image. Let's see output. If I get some output over here. It's doing something. It needs to get some runtime or something. But it can create image right from over here. So yeah, और ये Azure में भी image बना सकते हैं. तो yeah, और वहाँ पे registry में डाल देगा basically. Let's see. So this is what it does. आपको ये आपकी उसकी पूरी Docker file बना के दे देगा, जिसमें बताएगा आपका. अच्छा ये image tag मांगा basically. So let's say we can say my app latest. Yeah. I was waiting for that one. ये image बना रहा है basically, सही है? ये base image जो है हमने कहा था base image, I had it already. सही है? ये image बन रहा है basically, सही Docker image. जो हमने कहा था सारी dependencies आ जाती हैं, सारी उसके अंदर आ जाती हैं. This is what it is doing right now. सही है? तो मेरी जो application है उसकी मैं बता दी dependencies क्या हैं, क्या मुझे चाहिए, and that's all it does, right? We'll take a look at this one later. So yeah, it is ये अभी image लेके आ रहा है, सही है? Is getting the image right now, this version. This is what Dockerfile does, right? So this is ये जो है इनका ये डिस्कवरी करके और आपको डॉकर फाइल बना के दे देगा, which is one of the main points, right? And main area of for you guys to containerize. वो आपको automatically बना के दे देगा, ठीक है? And then it can create the image, and then it can deploy to Azure Kubernetes service. Yeah, it can do, for example, उसके अंदर app service containers के अंदर. और इसके अंदर मैंने आपको बताया था to control the deployment in AKS, you need the YAML files. ये मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा. Maybe we'll do a separate session on this one to show you how about the Docker file and YAML files basically. But it tells you basically YAML file tells you कि जी आपके पास इसको कितने कंटेनर के इंस्टेंस चाहिए, आपको कितना कितनी कोर्स देनी है इस कंटेनर को, कितना रैम देना है, क्या स्टोरेज है, and on and on basically, right? All these things, how it needs to be controlled are defined in YAML file. तो ये बड़ी powerful functionality है आपकी to move from your old stuff and from your existing stuff and to modernize the apps into a proper thing into AKS. Right? तो ये तो माइग्रेशन थी. तो ये हमने ऑलरेडी देख लिया कि Azure Data Box, what it does and what not. I need to move this one actually to the back, previous slide. The data box and basically there are many different scenarios. आपको भी मिल जाती है appliance भी, and you have up to, I think it's not much bigger, right? So data box जो है, it is up to 80 terabytes. Then you have, so आपके scenarios क्या है यहाँ पे? तो ये so main चीज जो है, it's one time migration. आपने large data move करना है Azure के अंदर. This is what it is. और क्या होता है, कस्टमर के पास इनकी टेप्स होती हैं, बैकअप टेप्स होती हैं. What they want to do is they want to copy all these tapes and move them to Azure. This is one of the another very big scenario. कस्टमर के पास वेयर हाउसेस के अंदर टेप्स पड़ी हुई होती हैं. So this is like archives kind of storage, where the government की रिक्वायरमेंट है जी आपके पास 7 साल पुराना डेटा हो, तो बैकअप्स होके टेप्स के ऊपर जाके then it goes over there. सही है? This is what happens essentially. उसके बाद आपके अगर बड़े डेटाबेसेस हैं, VMs, farm है, thousands of virtual machines, you can export them, put all the data in Azure Data Box, right? And so on and so forth. फिर होता है कि आपको डेटा बहुत ज़्यादा जनरेट हो रहा है, आप अपनी डेटा को नहीं यूज करना चाह रहे अपनी बैंडविड्थ, एंड इट इज मच चीपर फॉर यू टू यूज डेटा बॉक्स. हर हफ्ते हर महीने आपकी सर्विस आ रही है, डिस्क आ रही हैं, and you get them, you copy them and you ship them back. So sometimes that works out well for you also, right? उसके बाद ये सिनेरियोज हैं, सही है, 2 सिनेरियोज जो हैं कि गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशन चेंज हो गई, फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन यू नीड टू मूव द डेटा आउट ऑफ एज्योर गवर्नमेंट से. देन व्हाट इंस्टेड ऑफ डाउनलोडिंग जो आपने एक्यूमुलेट किया हुआ बहुत ज़्यादा डेटा, व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट यू कॉपी इट बैक. आप एज्योर कहते हो भी आप किसी को कॉपी करो डेटा बॉक्स के अंदर, वेदर दे आर स्मॉल डिस्क, SSDs या बड़ी अप्लायंस है जो भी है, सही है, एंड यू शिप इट. तो वो आप इंस्टेड ऑफ डाउनलोडिंग ऑल द डेटा you can get it from Microsoft in data box. So yeah. And similarly, because of whatever reason you want to move to on-premises or to another cloud service provider. So yeah, whatever the reason is you want to move back, you can use this one. So yeah. Any questions? तो ये बेसिकली क्रिटिकल सर्विसेज है हमारी. हमने अभी तक जो पढ़ा है, हमने उसकी बेसिक स्टोरेज सर्विसेज पढ़ी हैं हमने एज्योर की, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, then we went to various different services, then we went into storage services and various PaaS services. हमने compute पढ़ा था, हमने networking पढ़ा था, हमने storage पढ़ा उसका, and then we saw how do we migrate into Azure. So yeah, what are the different services? अब हमने सारा कुछ पढ़ लिया है. हमारे जो on premises है, we want to move it. How do we move it? So these are the various different services available to you. So yeah. और इसके अंदर basically if you look into these things, you will see यहाँ पे more details of this one. So yeah, and I will let me see if I can. Anyway, So you can go into the details of these things and you take a look at these things as well. So yeah, if you need to read more, but this is the end-to-end suite of migration tools, migration services that makes it easy for you, right? Because it can be a very, very big pain point for you to move these into Azure. So yeah, तो it makes it very, very easy. और उसके बाद भी अगर आपको advanced scenarios चाहिए, आपको databases के various different things, आपने यहाँ पे देखा Oracle नहीं है, यहाँ पे आपकी और चीजें नहीं है, there's some other things missing. Also यहाँ के ये जो Java applications है, it uses Tomcat only, Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, right? If you have third-party other web servers from in Java landscape, right? Like IBM का है, Oracle का है, various things, it doesn't cover those things, right? So for those things, you might need to do by hand, or you might need some third-party tools that handle those things as well. Yeah, but these are the very common scenarios that it covers. So yeah. So yeah, I think we are fine until here today. ये हमारे थोड़ा सा हमने मज़ीद we went into cover, हमने थोड़ा सा और cover किया था Azure storage को, and went to deep into Azure Migrate or the different services it allows. ये जो मैंने container बनाया, we can take a look यहाँ पे. You can see also ये मैंने भी container बनाया था इसका, सही है? इसको मैं अगर refresh करूँ, less than a minute, सही है? ये मेरा अभी container आया. Let's see if I can run this one. Look at a listing at port 3000. So yeah, let's see if we can do port 3000 over here. So this is the application. So this is the beauty of containers, right? I didn't care क्या है उसके अंदर क्या नहीं है. All I did was मैंने उसको कहा जी आप मेरी को containerize कर दो, and this is what I need. तो उसने उसका build करके जो हमने पढ़ा था ना, एक lot of people wrote in the exam also, you can do multiple operating system. This was the beauty of मैंने यहाँ पे उसको कहा मुझे ये चाहिए. Alpine is a very, very small Linux Linux operating system. तो ये मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि मुझे सबसे क्या चाहिए मुझे. I can put Windows, I can put Linux, I can put Ubuntu, but यहाँ पे मैंने कहा मुझे ये चाहिए. अब जिस जो मैं फॉर्म करता रहूंगा वो मुझे वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम एक दफा चलाएगा, सही है, राइट? I can run any number of containers on top of it, सही है. अगर मैं ये बनाऊंगा फिर से इसको क्या कहते हैं, तो this is what's happening, right? अभी एप्लीकेशन कंटेनर के अंदर रन कर रही है. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. ठीक है. अगर ये मैं इसको बंद कर दूं यहाँ पे, for example, I can stop it, right? Let's see what happens. ये चल रही है कि different वाला चल रहा है. Let's see if it's this one. Yeah. Let me, I can remove this container. I think मैंने पहले भी बनाया था इसको. ये वाला चल रहा है. सही है, getting started वाला. This one is. I can stop this one. Actually, it's this one running. ये देखो. Now it has stopped, right? I can delete this one as well. So I go back into images. ये मैंने अभी बनाया है इसका. Let's see if I run this one. See? Now I do this one again. ये वाला जो है, I need to see कि ये application है. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, let me, मेरा ख्याल है वही वाली थी. I will check ये वाली कौन सी application है. मैंने 2-3 चीजें की हुई हैं इसको. Images, this one was mine. Okay. Let's see, वही था मेरा ख्याल है, वही application मैं चला रहा हूँ. And I can test it, I guess. Let me just see. Curl localhost. Oh, sorry. यहाँ पे what I did was over here is, it is fine. If I do this one, this was the issue. मैंने इसमें जो वो host port one की map किया इसको. I think that's what happened. But we can try doing this one right now. If I can stop it, do this one, and I will go back into this one. और इसको मैं कहूँ getting started for example, या this one getting started. I think this is the critical part, which is no ports exposed in this one. I will do this one. Yeah, so I can do maybe 3000 on this one. ये आ गए, ये एप्लीकेशन रन कर रही है. इट शोज यू कि मेरी रिक्वेस्ट आई है अभी उसके अंदर, सही है. सो दिस व्हाट इट शोज यू, ये अभी एप्लीकेशन कंटेनर के अंदर रन कर रही है. आई कैन स्टॉप इट एंड यू विल सी आल्सो, आई मीन इट विल स्टॉप वर्किंग आल्सो. तो ये स्टॉप वर्किंग, सो मैंने कंटेनर बंद. So this is the beauty of containers basically, सही है. Anyway, I think we are done for today. So ये सर्विस है बेसिकली Azure Migrate. Azure storage is the critical service है हमारी Azure के ऊपर. And we have not covered completely, right? हमने इसका जो Azure के ऊपर storage services जो हैं हमारे पास, if you look at it, we have not touched diagnostics, various different things, right, in the settings and all that. But those are when you go into actually working with them, we can discuss those things as well, right? ये एक्सेस क्या है, अभी हमने एक्सेस सही तरह नहीं देखी. हमने कहा था कीज हैं इसकी. There's something called shared access signature also, right? Where you say it allows you to pick which service it is that you want to give access, which it is, what you can do, very, very granular control you can do. And then it allows you the timings also. तो यहाँ पर SAS signature बनाता है, सही है? And it will tell you what you can access and what not, right? Now if I do this, for example, key one. Let me see. तो ये अब ये देखो मैंने SAS टोकन बनाया ना इसका, तो यहाँ पे SAS टोकन, सही है. Now if you go into इसके अंदर, here it tells you, for example, यहाँ पे this one, see it says SAS token, right? Connection string भी यहाँ पे, I can do the connection string also. ये connection string है, सही है. I can do this one. वो कह रहे जी आप इसको, मैं इसको कह रहे क्यू है लेकिन आपने क्यू ली भी नहीं है उसकी, सही है. I don't know why it generated this one. अगर वो उसने नहीं करना, क्या कहते हैं, मैं फाइल को करता हूँ इसको, सही है. तो यहाँ पे आप इसका वो ये कर सकते हो, सही है. वो कह रहे कि अकाउंट की और SAS टोकन इज रिक्वायर्ड. लेट्स सी, ये SAS टोकन तो ये है बेसिकली, सही है. Let's do the full service, okay? अब हम करते हैं SAS टोकन. क्या मसला हो रहा है इसको? So based on this connection string, I can pick and choose services for the time I need, and I can do those kind of things. Very, very granular access I can provide using SAS tokens, shared access signature. So yeah. तो मैं जिसको भी signature दूंगा, they can get, मैं times कर सकता हूँ, date, time, कब से कब तक access है और किन चीजों के ऊपर access है, and then I can generate this one. So yeah, and based on this, he'll get the required access. ये मेरा आ गया, सही है. And you can see also all these things that is happening, so yeah. So this is what happens with SAS tokens. I can get very specific access for very specific period of time, right? I can do those kind of things. So it works out very, very well, so yeah, for those kind of scenarios. ये shared access tokens and basically storage accounts के अंदर, so yeah. Anyway, if nobody has any questions, we'll stop and we'll meet inshallah next time. Please continue revising the material. Quiz के लिए you will not have time to review, right? आते ही मैं जब मैं वापस आना है, you know, week after next, inshallah we're gonna have the quiz. सही है? So please make sure हमारी quiz होनी है probably on, you know, Monday and Tuesday. जो भी अभी classes होंगी 20 and 21st. So make sure that you're covering all the material. We are covering a lot of stuff, right? So make sure you're covering everything. So yeah. So yeah, inshallah. If nobody's any questions, we'll stop and we'll meet inshallah on Monday. Inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.